A special train arrived one day, and the Fat Controller welcomed the passengers. They looked at everything in the yard and photographed the engines. Duck's driver let some of them ride in his cab. "They're the Railway Society," his driver explained. "They've come to see us. Their engine's City of Truro. He was the first to go 100 miles an hour. Let's get finished, then we can go talk to him." "Oh," said Doug, awed. "He's too famous to notice me." "Rubbish," smiled his driver. "Come on." Duck found City of Truro at the coaling stage. "May I talk to you?" he asked shyly. "Of course," smiled the famous engine. "I see you are one of us." "I'll try to teach them our ways," said Duck modestly. "All ship-shape and Swindon fashion, that's right. Please, could you tell me how you beat the Southwestern?" So, City of Truro told Duck all about his famous run from Plymouth to Bristol more than 50 years ago. They were soon firm friends and talked Great Western till late at night. City of Truro left early next morning. "Good riddance," grumbled Gordon, chatting all night, keeping important engines awake. "Who is he anyway?" "He's City of Truro. He's famous." "As famous as me? Nonsense." "He's famouser than you. He went 100 miles an hour before you were drawn or thought of." "So he says. But I didn't like his looks. He's got no dome," said Gordon darkly. "Never trust domeless engines. They're not respectable." "I never boast," Gordon continued modestly, "but 100 miles an hour would be easy for me. Goodbye." Presently, Duck took some trucks to Edward's station. "Hello," said Edward. "The famous City of Truro came through this morning. He whistled to me. Wasn't he kind?" "He's the finest engine in the world," said Duck, and he told Edward about City of Truro and what Gordon had said. "Don't take any notice," soothed Edward. "He's just jealous. He thinks no engine should be famous but him. Look, he's coming now." Gordon's spoiler seemed to have swollen larger than ever. He swayed up and down from side to side as his wheels pounded the rails. "He did it, I'll do it. He did it, I'll do it," he panted. His train rocketed past and was gone. Edward chuckled and winked at Duck. "Gordon's trying to do a City of Truro," he said. Duck was still cross. "I should think he'll knock himself to bits," he snorted. "I heard something rattling as he went through." Gordon's driver eased him off. "Steady, boy," he said. "We aren't running a race." "We are then," said Gordon, but he said it to himself. Soon, Gordon began to feel a little queer. "The top of my dome seems funny," he thought. "It's just as if something is loose. I'd better go slower." But by then, it was too late. They met the wind on the viaduct. It wasn't just a gentle wind, nor was it a hard, steady wind. It was a teasing wind which blew suddenly in hard puffs. Gordon thought it wanted to push him off the bridge. "No, you don't," he said firmly. But the wind had other ideas. It curled around his boiler, crept under his loose stem, and lifted it off and away into the valley below. Gordon was most uncomfortable. He felt the cold where his dome wasn't, and besides, people laughed at him as he passed. At the big station, he tried to whoosh them away, but they crowded around him no matter what he did. On the way back, he wanted his driver to stop and find his dome, and was very cross when he wouldn't. He hoped the shed would be empty, but all the engines were there waiting. "Never trust domeless engines," said a voice. "They aren't respectable." City of Truro's visit made Doug very proud of being Great Western. He talked endlessly about it, but he worked hard too and made everything go like clockwork. trucks behaved well, and coaches were ready on time, and the passengers even stopped grumbling. But the engines didn't like having to be bustled about. "There are two ways of doing things," Duck told them. "The Great Western Way or the wrong way." "I'm Great Western, and don't we know it?" they groaned. They were glad when a visitor came. The visitor purred smoothly towards him. The fat controller climbed down. "Here is Diesel," he said. "I have agreed to give him a trial. He needs to learn. Please teach him, Duck." "Good morning," purred Diesel in an oily voice. "Pleased to meet you, Duck. Is that James and Henry and Gordon too?" "I am delighted to meet such famous engines." The silly engines were flattered. "He has very good manners," they murmured. "We are pleased to have him in our yard." Duck had his doubts. "Come on," he said shortly. "Oh yes," said Diesel. "The yard, of course. Excuse me, engines." And he purred after Duck. "You're worthy, fat, so tip my hat to you," ordered Duck. Diesel looked hurt. "Your worthy Sir Topham Hatt thinks I need to learn. He is mistaken. We Diesels don't need to learn. We know everything. We come to a yard and improve it. We are revolutionary." "Oh," said Duck, "if you're ever thing-gunny, perhaps you'll collect my trucks while I fetch Galton's coaches." Diesel, delighted to show off, purred away. Duck left Galton's coaches in the station and came back. Diesel was now trying to take some trucks from a siding nearby. They were old and empty. Clearly they had not been touched for a long time. Diesel found them hard to move. Pull! Push! Backwards! Forwards! The trucks groaned. "We can't! We won't!" Duck watched the operation with interest. Diesel lost patience. He roared and gave a great heave. The trucks jerked forward. Ned screamed. "We can't! We won't!" Their trailing brakes caught in the point and locked themselves solid. Roared Diesel. A rusty coupling broke and he shot forward suddenly by himself. Chuckled Duck. Diesel recovered and tried to push the trucks back, but they wouldn't move. Duck ran quietly around to where the other trucks were all stood in line. "Thank you for arranging these, Diesel," he said. "I must go now." "Don't you want this lot?" "No, thank you." Diesel gulped. "And I've taken all this trouble," he almost shrieked. "Why didn't you tell me?" "You never asked. Besides," said Duck innocently, "you were having such fun being whatever it was you said. Goodbye." Diesel had to help the workmen clear the mess. He hated it. All the trucks and coaches were laughing. Presently, he heard them sing. "Trucks are racing in the yards, tackling them with evil. Show the world what I can do, gaining both the Diesel. In a healthy creeps about, like a big black weasel. When he pulls the wrong truck out, pop goes the Diesel." He growled and scuttled away, socked in the shed. Throughout the whole day, the trucks and coaches continued singing rudely to Diesel. When Duck returned and heard the truck singing, he was horrified. "Shut up!" he ordered, and bumped them hard. "I'm sorry I tried to rude to you, Diesel. Diesel was still furious. "It's all your fault. You made them laugh at me." "Nonsense," said Henry. "Doc would never do that. We engines have our differences, but we never talk about them to the trucks. That would be disgraceful," said Gordon.
"Disgusting,"
put in James. "Despicable," finished Henry. Diesel hated Duck. He wanted him to be sent away. So he made a plan. Next day, he spoke to the trucks. "I see you like jokes," he said in his oily voice. "You made a good joke about me yesterday. I laughed and laughed. Doc told me one about Gordon. I'll whisper it. Don't tell Gordon I told you." And he sniggered away. "Oh, guffled the trucks. Gordon will be cross with Doc when he knows. Let's tell him and pay Doc out for bumping us." Diesel went to all the signs, and in each he told different stories. He said Doc had told them to him. This was untrue, but the trucks didn't know. They laughed really at the engines as they went by. Soon, Gordon, Henry, and James found out why. "Disgraceful," said Gordon.
"Disgusting,"
said James. "Despicable," said Henry. "We cannot allow it." They consulted together. "Yes," they said. "He did it to us. We'll do it to him and see how he likes it." Duck was tired. The trucks had been cheeky and troublesome. He had to work hard to make them behave. He wanted the rest in the shed. The three engines barred his way. "Keep out! Stop fooling," said Duck. "I'm tired." "So are we," hissed the engines. "We are tired of you. We like Diesel. We don't like you. You tell tales about us to trucks." "I don't." "You do." "I don't." "You do." The fat controller came to stop the noise. "Duck called me a galloping sausage," blustered Gordon. "Rusty red scrap iron," hissed James. "Hello, squirrels," fumed Henry. "Well, Duck," Duck considered. "I only wish, sir," he said gravely, "that I thought of those names myself. If the dome fit." "He made trucks laugh at us," accused the engines. The fat controller recovered. "Did you, Doug?" "Certainly not, sir. No steam engine would be as mean as that." "Now, Diesel, you heard what Doc said." "I can't understand it, sir. To think that Doc on all engines. I'm deeply grieved, sir, but know nothing." "I see." Diesel squirmed and hoped he didn't. "I'm sorry, Doc," the fat controller went on, "but you must go to Edward Station for a while. I know he'll be glad to see you." "Beg pardon, sir. Do you mean now?" "Yes, please." "As you wish, sir." Duck trundled sadly away, while Diesel smirked with triumph in the darkness.
The next morning, Henry was taking his first train of the day up to Vicarstown. But he couldn't help but wonder if Duck was truly the culprit. "Driver," he said, "do you think Duck was the one giving all those horrid names?" "I wasn't there, boy," replied his driver. "There's always best to know the facts first before making a judgment on someone. Yes, Duck may have been boastful about being Great Western, but looking back to what happened yesterday, I personally can't see Duck doing such a thing. Telling tales about other engines to the trucks. That's what I mean. At first I believed it. Now, looking back to what happened those last few days, I'm starting to think maybe Doug didn't get those names to the trucks." "Who do you think did it then?" wondered the fireman. Henry thought for a moment. He tried to think who else would be that much of a bully. He finally landed on someone. I wonder if it may be Diesel." That afternoon, Henry saw Diesel shunting trucks in the yard. "I'd like to have a word with you, Diesel," said Henry sternly. Diesel gazed at the big green engine with indignance. "Can't you see I'm shunting here?" he squirmed crossly in his oily voice. "Yes, I can see that," replied Henry. "I just want to ask you something about Duck." Diesel gulped. He knew what Henry was about to ask. Diesel slowly crawled forward towards Henry. "Did you tell lies about Duck?" "No, I did not," protested Diesel. "I did no such thing." "That's quite a ride, isn't it? Me, Gordon and James finding out about Duck's tall tales from the trucks is quite a coincidence. Yesterday, from my recollection, you were the only one shunting trucks in the yard. Duck was shunting coaches at Napa Station, wasn't he?" Wasn't he?" "Yes, he was, but I don't know how he managed to get those tales across without me knowing. If I heard him saying such things to the trucks, I would have instantly gone to see the fact controller." "Why would Duck tell horrid things about us to the trucks after he played a trick on you the other day?" "Tragic, isn't it, Henry? But whatever you're accusing me of, it is all on Duck. He never liked me in the slightest, nor did he like the trucks." "What have you done, Diesel? Are you the one who said those horrid things about me, Gordon, and James?" Diesel glared at Henry with evilness in his eyes. Henry had found out the truth, but Diesel had made a plan right on the spot to send Henry away too. "Ah, so typical. First the Quacker, and now Henry. Whoever next will come to threaten dieselization, I wonder. They want to ruin my image. I will ruin their image just because they think they're superior than me. And after Henry's gone, I will prove to the top of my hat that I am the first superior engine to Henry and all the other steamers. Diesels will be taken over. I'm a diesel of my word."
Diesel, what are you doing? Help! Help me, Diesel, help!
Duck shoved sadly to Edward's station. "It's not fair," he complained. "Diesel has made the Fat Controller and all the engines think I'm horrid." Edward smiled. "I know you aren't," he said, "and so does the Fat Controller. You wait and see." Duck felt happier with Edward. He helped Edward with his trucks and coaches, and sometimes helped foreign enders by pushing their trains up the hill. One day, he pushed behind a goods train and helped it to the top. "Beep, beep! Goodbye," he called, and rolled gently over the crossing to the other line. Duck loved coasting down the hill, running easily with the wind whistling past. He hummed a little tune. Dum dee dum doo, dum dee dum doo. "That sounds like a guard's whistle," he thought. "But we haven't a guard." His driver hurried too and looked back. "Hurry, Duck, hurry!" he called urgently. "Hurrah, hurrah, hurrah!" they laughed. "We've broken away! We've broken away! Chase them! Bump them! Burn up the rails!" "Now what?" asked the fireman. "As fast as we can," said the driver grimly. "Then they'll catch us gradually." They raced through Edward's station, whistling furiously. But the trucks caught up with them. It was a shuddering jar. Ugh! Braking carefully, the driver was gaining control. "Another clear mile and we'll do it!" They sped around the bank. "Oh, glory! Look at that!" A passenger train was pulling out on the line from the station ahead. The driver leapt to his reverser. "Hard over! Full steam! Whistle!" "It's up to you now, Duck." Duck put every ounce of weight and steam against the trucks. "I must stop them, I must!" "It's too late!" Duck groaned. He felt a sudden swerve and slid shuddering and groaning for a siding, where a barber had set up shop. When the dust had settled, Duck saw himself looking directly to the barber and his customers. "Beg pardon, sir," gasped Duck. "Excuse my intrusion." "No, I won't," said the barber crossly. "You frightened my customers and spoiled my new paint. I'll teach you," and he laughed at Duck's face all over. Poor Duck. They were pulling the trucks away when the Fat Controller arrived. "I do not like engines popping through my walls," fumed the barber. "I appreciate your feelings," said the Fat Controller, "and will gladly repair the damage. But you must know that this engine and its crew have been in a serious accident. You and many others might have been badly hurt." The Fat Controller paused impressively. "It was a very close, shave." "Oh," said the barber. "Oh, excuse me." He fetched a basin of water and washed Duck's face. "I'm sorry, Duck," he said. "I didn't know you were being a brave engine." "That's all right, sir," said Duck. "I didn't know that either." "You're very brave indeed," said the Fat Controller kindly. "I'm proud of you. I shall tell City Attruro about you next time he comes." "Oh, sir!" Duck felt happier than he had been for weeks. The Fat Controller watched the rescue operation. Then he had more news for Duck. "When you are neat mended, you are coming home." "Home, sir? Do you mean the yard?" "Of course. But, sir, they don't like me. They like Diesel." "Not now. I never believed Diesel. After you went, he told lies about Henry. So I sent him packing. The engines are sorry and want you back. A few days later, he came home shining with new paint. There was a really rousing welcome for Duck, the Great Western Engine.